Joining us, the brand new head coach, technical director of El Paso Locomotive FC. He is John Hutchinson, and he joins us live from his home in Australia. Man, it's dark here, and it looks beautiful right now where you are. We're jealous here.
Yeah, Saturday lunchtime. Really nice weather. It's a nice day. And thanks for having me on the show, Steve. I'm really pleased to be here.
Coach, thank you. By the way, when you finish our show, since it is lunchtime, what are you eating? What is a typical Saturday like for you, Coach?
Barbecue, definitely barbecue. Friends around, sit around, watch sport. But yeah, at the moment, obviously, with the time difference, I'm just winding up finishing work in El Paso. So I try to wake up about 4 o'clock in the morning to get started, to try to catch your mornings, and then work through to your PM, so that way I can try to connect with agents and staff and get started.
By the way, we've got some pretty good barbecue here in Texas. So I'm happy you like barbecue in Australia, because we do it okay over here. We really do.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I think some of the best barbecue I had was in Texas when we were traveling through with Seattle. So pretty pumped, looking forward to it, looking forward to being a part of the community in El Paso. And every time you talk to someone about Texas, they just talk about how warm people are and how good the food is.
No doubt. I would agree with that. And obviously for you, an opportunity to join a franchise that in 3 years has done very well for themselves. And hearing your press conference yesterday, I think that my biggest takeaway is you're looking at adding speed on the wings, which could give you an opportunity to really play that offensive style where you get a lot of shots, a lot of scoring opportunities, and ultimately just a chance to continue to build on the success we've seen with this franchise over the last 3 years.
Yeah, look, the club overall has been really successful. Tough for a franchise to come in and do what they've done. So, you know, Marco's obviously done a really good job, his coaching staff, but the club in all have done a good job as well. You know, to be in the positions they've got, results they've been getting is fantastic. So for me personally, it's about seeing what the club's done in the past and trying to add my take on it as well. You know, I know that we've always valued possession and attacking game. So I just want to add my spin to that and make it a bit more aggressive, try to get more chances for the strikers and the wingers, and just add a bit more attacking threat really in wide areas as well, and see if we can get some more plays in the box, score more goals. And, you know, I said it yesterday, soccer is for the fans, soccer's for the players. Like, as a coach, I just want people to be entertained, and that's what we're looking to do.
If you want to call it football, we'll call it football. We know American football here is what we have right now. In fact, we've got the bowl season for college and the NFL games every Sunday. So I have no problem with Mark. We called it football all the time because he was used to it. So you don't have to worry about switching up to soccer with us here on the program, Coach.
Okay, that's perfect. I apologize in advance if I keep calling it football, but that's just Australia, Japan, yes, and in America where I've been.
Would you say that your style of football is a style that you see a lot of here in the States, or is it something that is more unique to Europe and to other parts of the world?
Look, it's a little bit unique, but, you know, when I first started coaching, I had this philosophy of attacking and trying to be entertaining. And I had a lot of holes in it. There was like bits and pieces that wasn't complete. And that's why I continued that assistant coach role, where I was learning off some really good people. And to be honest, when I went to Japan as the first assistant, like we call it head coach there, under a manager system, I worked with a guy named Ange Postecoglou, who's at Celtic now, and really just like an incredible man that gave me more, filled the pieces up, filled the holes up that were kind of missing in my football, in terms of, okay, I want to play attacking, what does it stand for? And what I want to try to bring to El Paso, to America, is something that you haven't seen, something a bit more dynamic, a bit more aggressive, and have no fear. You know, my biggest thing with football that I notice, and I just don't understand why, is when teams are winning 1-0, they'll sit on top of their 18-yard box, they'll defend for their life, they'll be jumping in front of balls, and they'll keep the ball, give the ball back to the opposition, and they'll come again. And I don't think that's safe. I don't think that's, for me, I want the ball in the attacking half trying to score a second goal. Like, don't worry about defending a 1-0 lead. Let's go get a second goal. Let's go get a third goal. And then now we're safe. Now it's safe. But I want to keep the ball. I want to be really aggressive in the way we press, the way we play football. And that's how I see changing it. And I hope that we can create an identity for the club, for the people of El Paso, the fans, that we can be super proud of. And it's just a continuation of what's already happened in El Paso. It's not, it's nothing that you guys haven't seen, but what I want to do is engage it. And when you see it, you just go, wow, this is really impressive. And that's what I'm going to bring to El Paso. I'm 100% behind my brand of football, the way I see the game, and it's unwavering. I don't believe in any other way to play the game.
It's funny you said that, because in American sports, we say that strategy sometimes is you're playing not to lose rather than playing to win. And sometimes when teams play not to lose, that's what ends up happening. They'll give up a goal, or they'll give up a touchdown or a basket, whatever it is in sports today. And you got to keep staying with that attack and keep putting your foot on the gas so you can try to put a game away or a match away, instead of worrying about a draw or perhaps a loss when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I just think that no matter who you play and where you go, you have to play to win. You've got to give the players the best opportunity to win the game. If we play not to lose, you're going to lose. You're giving the ball the opposition, they're going to get a lucky goal and the game's over. So even if we're in the Open Cup and we're playing an MLS team away from El Paso, like, the identity of the football team doesn't change. We continue to try to maintain possession in the attacking half, though, and we maintain pressure on the ball at all times. And if we don't win that game, then we look at it and we continue to grow. And how can we be more aggressive? Like, how do we do better next time in certain areas? And, you know, I coach the team off principles. I don't coach them off decision-making, because if you coach off decision-making, I'm never wrong. I can't be wrong because of decision-making. Why didn't you pass it here? And principles make it that everyone knows their roles and responsibilities. And, you know, when we get in that front third, there is a lot of freedom for the attacking players. I want them to express themselves and be happy on the ball, and let them entertain the fans, because that's what the fans pay for. The fans don't pay for people to defend the top of the box and keep it and make saves. It's really nice and people give them a nice clap, but what people get excited about, the fans and the club, is goals, attacking football, exciting football. So that's, again, I want to bring that to El Paso. I'm 100% confident that we can do that. I've got the players signed by the club before I come that have the capabilities of doing that, and the players we're bringing in, they're exciting. You know, we've identified players that are going to excite not just me, the coaching staff and the players, but excite the people to come to the games.
John Hutchinson with us right now, new head coach, technical director of El Paso Locomotive FC. I wish I could just say you're the new manager, because that's what we're used to in this sport as managers. But it's head coach, technical director. 19 years as a player, most of those seasons in Australia. John, what were you like as a player?
Slow, really slow. Didn't run fast. Look, just battled away. You know, I wasn't super talented. I come from a small country town. And, you know, I wasn't good enough ever growing up. I tried to make our the local Victorian teams, and yeah, I was a decent player and I had ability, but in terms of the best players, I had to work really hard to get where I went, where I got. So, centre midfielder, loved to tackle, loved the ball, loved passing and watching my team score goals. And that hasn't changed as a coach, but yeah, I enjoyed my career. It took me around the world. I got to play for Malta national team due to heritage, which was fantastic. I played Portugal, played against Greece, played against Croatia, some, you know, World Cup qualifiers that we were never going to win, but incredible atmosphere, incredible players. Played in the Asian Champions League, and, you know, we won a couple of leagues, and the team I played 10 years for in the A-League, we won one championship, and I was the captain that year, and it was a really special moment.
All right. So this is what I took out of that answer, especially within the first 30 seconds, is that as a player, you were a grinder. Is that a pretty accurate description of the style that you had playing football all these years?
Steve, I'm telling you, I should have just said that and the conversation would have been done. Grinder, battler, done.
Yeah. And by the way, playing for the national team, would you put that among some of the best? You know, you think about all the I don't call it honors, but the career highlights and representing your country and playing in World Cup qualifiers. Was there, I mean, winning a championship is important, but putting on that jersey and representing your country, that's something else, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. Obviously, I would have loved to represent Australia where I was born and raised, but my grandparents were born in Malta. My grandma was alive at the time when I went to play for Malta, and I remember making the phone call to her and just hearing the absolute pride and the tears and just how happy she was. And at that stage, my mum was alive as well, and she was talking about, she was, obviously a real proud Australian Maltese woman, and just to hear the pride that they had in terms of playing for Malta and representing a small nation, but a country that they loved, obviously gives you a lot of pride. And you're right, it is probably the best achievement I've done. I remember standing there thinking, like, this is incredible. Like, I'm, coming up against some of the best players in the world. Got to play against Sweden as well. And, when you're standing there and you see how good these players are and how I'm a battler, it was a really nice moment.
All right, now my phone is buzzing with one of the fans and supporters of this club. His name is Augustine, and he's trying to find out if there's any way we can get Mark Viduka into El Paso sometime. Is that a possibility?
I would love to say yes, because honestly, he's probably, for me, the greatest ever player in Australia's created. But unfortunately, Viduka, I heard, sits at a cafe somewhere in Melbourne 6 months and travels to Croatia for 6 months. So I'm sure he's very happy in life.
I know he also wanted to know about your system to use a diamond or like wide attacks. And I would assume the answer is wide attacks, especially as you talk about getting more speed and incorporate that on the wide side as you play offensively.
Yeah, two high wingers, like really high and wide, to create width and space in behind. And with the midfield, people want to pin a formation. I just kind of have 3 midfielders, whether it's 1 holder, 2 8s, 2 10s, 2 6s. It just depends on who's in there, and it depends on the movement and how we see it in the build-up phase. And that, I'll do. You will see 2 wingers, definitely all the time. You'll see a striker. You might see 1 10, 2 10s, different games. But generally it's a 4-3-3, and what that looks like in the midfield is depends on what we're coming up, which team we're playing, because I have a belief of it's 95% us. 95% is we concentrate on our own football and our own identity. The 5% we worry about the opposition, because I believe in the football so much that we're going to play, that I know if we get that right, we're going to win more games than we lose this year.
As you spend time in Seattle with Sounders S2, how have you seen the growth of American, I guess we have to say soccer in this because it's not American football. That's what we talked about earlier. But how have you seen the growth of the sport in the U.S., in recent years, especially as the USL has exploded in numbers and now become such a force in professional soccer here in the United States?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I was in Seattle in 2017-18 with S2 at the time, assistant coach and then head coach. And it's always been a league I've watched. Even when I left America for that year in Melbourne and come back to Seattle Sounders with the MLS team, I still watched the USL. It's, to be honest, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was a good league. I wouldn't be here if I didn't think El Paso had the ability and the ambition to be something more, win stuff and silverware, because I want to be successful. I want to be a manager that can move on from El Paso in the future, and something that El Paso can be proud of as well, in terms of we move a coach, we move players. But I see El Paso as a really good club to be at. And again, I wouldn't come to America if I didn't think that this league is growing and this league has the potential to develop me as a coach. And I wouldn't be here. Honestly, it's I can't believe it just keeps growing. It's like this train that doesn't stop, and it just keeps growing and growing. And that's what I love about it. Do
you plan on hiring some staff that you've worked with over the years to join you in El Paso?
Look, I might bring 1 staff member. I've got a staff member, but I worked with him for only 6 months. I really like working with new people. I find it really engaging, and I like to be challenged. I like challenging them, and I like growing with people that you may have never met in your life. I've got some wonderful staff that I've already spoken to at the club We've had some really good discussions in players. We've had, assistant coach Dom the other day was telling me he didn't like a player I liked. And again, yes, I'll make a decision based on what I like, but I like that. I like being challenged, and I like working with people that, again, I may have never met in my whole life. And all of a sudden I'm working with these bunch of people. So, if the assistant coach that I'm chasing doesn't work out for me, then I'll open the doors up to someone I don't know and give someone an opportunity that they want to take and come and work there. And yeah, I just think it's a really good opportunity for me and the people at the club to grow together. And I never look to remove any staff that are there, because I believe that they deserve the opportunity to show me that they want to be a part of what we're trying to build.
Absolutely. Now, this club has been releasing names of players signed over the last couple of weeks, as I'm sure you've been following. There's players that have been signed that we haven't heard about yet. Fans are still wondering if Logan Ketter is coming back in net for you, because he spent a little time in the MLS, came back here. He's been here ever since the beginning and had developed a pretty big following around. So everybody's kind of on pins and needles, Coach, to see if your goalkeeper is going to be heading back for your first season.
No, I understand. I understand exactly when this season and the fans get a little bit nervous about who's coming in, who's coming out. Look, we're still working on that kind of stuff in the background. It's not as easy just saying, hey, we want you to come back, and they say yes, because, again, players have ambition as well, and they're the players I want. I said that yesterday in the media conference. I want players with ambition, because I have ambition and the club has ambition, and it's a big word, but what I want is that growth, and I want players to grow. So look, we're working through these details. We're seeing what people want to do and what they want to get up to. I have no issues as a coach and club. If someone wants to try to get in MLS or go overseas, I think that's fantastic. I think that's something that we need to embrace and challenge players that want that. You don't want players that are happy sitting there picking up a pay packet, going, this is wonderful. El Paso, what a lovely place to live. What a wonderful club, beautiful people. And I've got nothing else I want to do. Again, in their twilight of the career, fantastic. Let's bring people, let them grow the culture, let them grow what the football club's about. But in terms of young guys, goalkeepers, we want to see them grow, be ambitious. So look, the answer in short is we're still working through that announcements, and we're trying to work through all the players that we're looking at.
Fair enough. Now, are you a big English Premier League fan? And if so, who's your team?
I am, and I'm a little bit disappointed because my team's Newcastle United, and I liked them because they were, really. You talk about a family club and a club that's the area just loves, and Newcastle was one of them. I was fortunate enough to go to the UK when I was about 21, 22, and up into Newcastle, and the pride they have for their football club is incredible. I just hope they don't lose that, with the sale that went through, and, we obviously removed our manager straight away, and I do love the Premier League. But yeah, my team's in relegation. So maybe ask that one question at the end of the season.
Fair enough. Now, do you have any Ted Lasso in you, Coach? Is there any kind of Ted Lasso that we should expect to see when you come to El Paso?
No, I watched that show. I do find it very amusing, and it's. I hope not. Anyway, I hope not.
I hear you. By the way, Coach John Hutchinson has been great with us, new head coach, technical director, El Paso Locomotive FC. I look forward to meeting you when you come into town, but I got to tell you something. We've finally come full circle in Australia and El Paso sports. Let me tell you why. In the 1980s, we had a basketball player at UTEP. His name was Kent Lockhart. Grinder, tough, hard-nosed forward, plays professional in Australia for about 15 seasons. Then he goes and coaches for about another 15, 20 seasons. Now he is a legendary name in Australian basketball. Lives out there, has developed the accent, never comes back to El Paso. Nobody has ever seen Ken Lockhart since, but we know he became a basketball legend in Australia. And now here we are. All these years later, we've got a soccer club. We're bringing in a footballer from Australia to become head coach. So it's like we've finally come full circle sports-wise with the relationship between El Paso and Australia, Coach.
So obviously you're saying Australia stole one of your own, and now you want to steal one back. So it's 1-1 on the scoreboard. So no, look, I'm really happy to be here. Honestly, I can't wait to get in El Paso and get started. And yeah, I'm glad you've evened up the score though for Australia.
We are too. Look forward to meeting you face to face next month when you come into town with your family. Thanks for joining us. And again, very excited about what you bring to the table here with El Paso Locomotive FC, Coach.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. And I look forward to meeting everyone when I'm in town.